Welcome back, one and all, to the adventures of the Roadwarden. Now, heads up before we get started here. My brain is a little bit loose today. I just went and got an espresso before. I always like to have a nice espresso, a nice little sip of caffeination before I get started on any video. It helps build my frontal lobe complex to allow me to banter about random crap that nobody needs to know about. And I went and I got the machine. I have a little Nespresso machine. I put in the espresso pod. I hit the brew button. I walked away. I did a little bit of exercising. Came back and I was like, who took my espresso? Where is it? The truth of the matter is I never put a cup underneath it. So here we are. We're back in the Roadwarden. We just met this foggy person. And we got a couple quests. Now I did before starting the recording, I did kind of go back into the journal and I realized, look at all these damn quests we have. We are living life in this game just like we live life in real life. And we were just starting a bunch of projects, never finishing a single one of them. The saddest one is the merchant's medicament. Because we need to get this potion that's located in the dolmen, which is that little hut where people like prayed in and stuff like that. And we know that we can dig there. We have a key for a box, I guess that's there. But I've been looking for something to dig it with. I remember when we were there, it said like we couldn't dig or we couldn't get to there, if I remember correctly. Problem is, it says we need to deliver it to him on day 10 or earlier. And it is day 10, evening of day 10. So it looks like that quest is going to fail, but maybe that potion can be useful for something else. So we're not just going to throw it away. I think today we're going to, of course, sleep here, get ourselves in order. And I feel like we continue to move north. We know that the band of people that were stopped at the watchtower, they headed west, apparently. But that's the danger zones. I don't know if we're ready to go west, but we know whoever was at that wagon headed to the watchtower and headed west. This lady over here, she wants us to be setting up a whole bunch of rods on top of mountains, so I betcha we're going to be able to put one up at the top of Old Pagos. I'm not really sure where else, aside from that, so far. But it says it's a hill, so there's probably going to be a spot there. And by going around this way, we'll be able to loop back around and eventually get to Howler's Dell. Maybe we can give some updates if we want to do the spying stuff. But more importantly, here we might be able to buy some tools that we can then use to help these guys catch that bird. But the bird also has a limited time. It says do it sooner than later. So I'm guessing we'll have like a couple days, maybe, before we can do that. So we do want to move a little bit quickly and see if we can help these people out. So to start things off, I went back into the tavern. We do have some free meals that we can get here. But I noticed that we could say something about Caius, who every time I see this name, I just think of Morrowind. What a banger of a game. Anyway, but I can't remember who Caius is. I wonder, why did you decide to keep him around? Do I need a reason? Her amused eyes get thoughtful as she looks at the ceiling. He came here as a poor soul in need, taught only how to use a spear and a shield. I know how it feels to have all that you're good at taken away from you. She straightens up, hits her chest with her fist. But so I know that new paths await us, with or without the help of others. Caius's legs may be buried in despair, but I'm ready to throw him a shovel once he asks for it. She pauses, then looks through the window. Though these fantasies of his won't help him ask anytime soon, they swallow his thoughts. Yeah, we learned last time that I guess Foggy, she fought in the wars. She has a lot of traveling experience. She's been through the ropes, you know, and then she came here to set up a little area to live kind of in peace. And I guess she's just continuing that dream, the dream of a simple life. Okay, time for me to go. Oh, I guess we can't sleep here. Wait a minute. I thought we activated a sleeping spot here. Hold on. It does say it is a nighttime shelter. Time for me to go. I approach the foragers. Can I sleep here? I walk away. Uh-oh. Maybe it's too early to sleep? Oh no. It'd be too late to explore an unfamiliar area. How far back can we get? We can't get to the dolmen, right? Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. We can't You need to wait for a day. An uninhabited wood structure built in a clearing near a rock tree. You need to wait for a day for the spotted wolves. Oh, right, the wolves that chased us. All right. I guess we'll take a peek in a new area and then kind of come back. Let's go. Yeah, the town might be north. We might be able to find some shelter over there. I don't want to just sleep in the wilderness. Yeah, let's go further north. You follow the road spread between the hills and lonely trees until you reach a solid wooden bridge, not older than a generation. You ride uphill, but Gordon manages to keep up. The dark woods in the south are behind a gently humming creek, while the forest on your right was trimmed by the locals. It's a peaceful journey, at least for some time. After a few minutes, you spot a group of wolves feasting on a fallen furry beast, maybe a wizened. One of them looks towards you. I ride a bit faster. I heard that little growl of like a bear. What the hell? The road fades into an old tunnel. There are no signs of mining, no signposts, no human voices. The ceiling is supported by wooden beams, but the light only reaches so far. The chilling wind mercilessly bends the few lonely trees, while the shrubs opposite the weather patiently. While the shrubs oppose! I've done it. Oppose the weather patiently. Whenever I find like a grammar mistake in this game, it's most likely me, not the writing. It's my eyes. The side path leading west is somewhat maintained, and you find both boot prints and cart tracks. It leads higher into the mountains. Both boot prints and cart tracks. Okay, so maybe this used to be like a trading tunnel. Interesting. I tether Gordon to a tree, then enter the tunnel. I could place a bronze rod somewhere around. All right, let's put the rod. Hell yeah. You find the perfect spot, a small crack between two massive rocks. You use the rod to broaden it just a bit, then push it halfway in and fill the gaps with a rake. I dust off mine hands. Okay, let's tether Gordon to the tree and see what we can do here. Your mount observes the area anxiously, so you tell it that this won't take long. You unpack all the things you need to make a new simple torch, a log, some old rugs, a bit of oil. We have rugs? maybe that's a mistake. Maybe it's supposed to be rags. You grab your tinderbox and sit on the ground for a couple of minutes, preparing the flint and the linen char cloth. Decades ago, before the southern invasion, people used fire strikers made of thick steel, but all you have is a cube-like piece of harsh pyrite. It's not the best, but it's enough to make a couple of sparks. The loud, flickering yellow light unevenly hits your cheek with heat. You raise the torch, but hold it at an angle, letting the oil drip on the ground. Let's see where the tunnel leads. Oh, damn it. For a few minutes, you follow a fairly straight corridor. The timber supporting the ceiling is decaying, but you don't spot any signs of collapse. The floor is littered with bones and rotting food, most likely dragged here by wild beasts, but there are also signs of soot above you and boot prints left on the dried mud. You reach the crossroads and stop in place. There's no sconce in sight, so you'd have to constantly carry the torch, or loose it for good. And it won't last for long anyway. The draft is hardly noticeable, so looking for an exit in the dark could be dangerous. I need a reliable light source, so I can't even do this. I remember seeing somewhere where I think you could buy a lantern or something like that. I go outside. All right. Seek shelter? Okay, maybe if we head back here. Let's head back there. We may have to pay to sleep because someone has to look after our horse. If I enter the tavern, then sleep, maybe? Sleep. Ooh. Rent is 1. Oh, we can pay with rations or money. Well, that's interesting. The bear fur will be fine sleeping spot, but your horse will disturb your rest, and in the morning you'll have to clean after it. Sleeping here will be rather uncomfortable. You'll have plenty of space and many furs to choose from. The staff will help take care of your mount's filth. We have 5 gold coins. We're gonna need all the gold coins we can get. We don't need any more health. We have free food here that we can eat in the morning, so that's not a big deal. We're gonna lose 1 vitality though, which kind of sucks. I think we're gonna do this one though. I think overall this is gonna be the better option for us. We're gonna lose a lot, but we need to save up so we can buy some of the tools. Oh. The monstrous shout wake you up. The night is bright, and from the window of the tavern you have a good look at the yard. A few massive dragonlings are exploring the courtyard, knocking over wood tools with their tails, putting their noses into buckets, and underneath the stairs. You count 5 of them so far, but you can't see the entire area at once. One of them spots your look and moves closer. Still, it doesn't try to climb to the door. Maybe it's experienced enough to know it won't get through. Damn. I scoff at it. Stupid lizard! And leave the shutter open. That is so badass. Just like scoffing at it, insulting it, and leaving the window open. Like, come on. I'm not afraid of you. This is... This is what the character of Reginald Stoutworthy would do. He is afraid of nothing. He screams at giant packs of griffins and goblins without a care in the world. This is the two character response, but it's probably not the smart response to do. But we are trying to do our best to stick to character. Even though the more I play this game, the more I want to play it like as properly as possible because I'm immersed. Stupid lizards. You have died. It's an exhausting night. Gordon keeps stepping in place or walking, taking only short naps. You can't count how many times you try to calm it down with your voice, touch, and by offering it water or a snack, but nothing helps. You close your eyes for an hour or so in the late morning, then clean up after your mount. The stench alone is disarming. Foggy turns towards you and waits for you to speak. I would like to eat, please. Heck yeah. We've already paid for another 3 meals. Do we want to get full up? Maybe we just want to fill up. Give us another one. We're ready for the road. Okay, we got 2 meals left. All right, time to go. You guys have anything new to say? Ooh. So, Caius, your boss told me you have some sort of visions. He meets your eyes and straightens up, reaching out to you with a dirty hand. That's alright, that's alright. I don't like Itachi. I allow him. We do not fear visions. It rests on your shoulders, like a light like a bird. Your nose tells you that he hasn't washed in quite a few days. The right hears the prayers of the people. I mean, of the 10 cities, all the tribes, and the empress, and priests, merchants, farmers. We thought things were lost, the glory behind us, punished by humiliation for our weak hearts. He starts to shake his stump a foot. He starts to shake his stump a foot away from your face. It makes sense. You've done it again, game. You've beaten my grammar. But there's hope. His voice gets stronger with every heartbeat, and a wide smile shows up under his beard. The rights test is behind us, and we, the sinners, have failed it. Now are the days of atonement, and of the new cities, with new tribes and the cleansed land. We, you know, have to fix ourselves, change what we can, weed out our sins, and bring flesh hearts to the holiest soul carrier, and let them guide us anew, with new tablets and prayers, and a new church, the only church. Yes! He steps in place, bursting with excitement. All the rivers will flow as one wave, and the new cities, the reborn city, will wipe out the barbarians. He spits on the ground and send them back to the chains. He points his hand south. We will come to the ashes, reborn into the power greater than any fortress, to the 1,000 dragons, than all the ships and armies. He steps back, lowering his head. I, the humble servant, was granted this vision. You're insane. I see. Oh, so be it. This would, because, okay, if anybody's watching this for the first time, Reginald Stoutworthy is a man of profession. He gets to the point. He doesn't like being bothered. He does see himself as above most lesser beings. However, he is very much emboldened by the flame of ambition. Hearing this, he may not believe in it, but he would be so pumped up. So be it. He turns away from you and approaches the wall. Take this word and carry it in your heart and on your lips. Be a part of the wave that swallows the faithless. Zvi presses a clenched fist to his lips, stopping himself from laughter, while Ellen looks at the prophet with concern. Don't encourage him, friend. It's not right. I don't think we're ready to hunt. Alright. Travel. So we can't go further north. I'm guessing this way will lead to the village. So this way could be adventures. But we're going to go this way first. I want to get to Howler's Den as soon as we can, clear this area out, and then come back to do that bird quest. I cannot leave things undone. You're squeezed between the hills and the forest. The only larger beast you spot is a single saurian basking on a boulder, lazily observing you from a safe distance. Your ears catch the howls coming from the north, long and loud, while you look at the lake, hoping there's no threat hiding below the water's surface. The few plants growing next to the road mostly bear fruit. The road is not as reliable here as it was at the eastern bank. Parts of it are a bit muddy, and the puddles disturb your ride. Maybe the locals will maintain it before it gets swallowed by the lake. The deep, loud yells of howlers are piercing your ears, concealing any other sound in the area. They're sitting on branches and in the tall grass, not really trying to hide. Their thick black and gold furs cover their entire shells, aside from the charcoal black faces with the roundish flat noses and wide nostrils. The younger members of the pack are about the size of your mount's head, but the larger ones would be chest high if it wasn't for the fact that they walk on all fours. Their long tails are like an additional arm, helping them climb, hang from branches, or hold food while they eat. So I'm guessing these are like some like howler monkeys in real life, but like beastly. They aren't particularly muscular, well maybe not, but when they form their pink lips into the shape of a cup to release their howls, their mouths are so wide they could fit your entire arm inside. Jesus. As you listen to the shouts, you reach for your head. You feel a weird itch, but somehow you can't scratch it. They're taking over. Keeping my distance, I take a look at the hide behind the boulder. The whitish rawhide covers the grass like a blanket, surrounded by paw prints. The howlers don't wait for you to approach it. One of the larger ones jumps on the ground, leaning on its hands and challenging you with its gaze. It has rather blunt teeth. Okay. Too bad I have nothing to plug my ears with. Your fingers! Shove 'em in! It would be a decent spot for a fish trap. The monkeys may try to attack me, so I grab the rawhide quickly and flee. I try to... Okay, wait. I think we've learned about the monkeys. I think we may have learned about the monkeys. Bestiary. Howlers. Howlers are monkeys, strong, lose a tail, though it's not as dangerous as the apes. They fill the territories with other calls, are harmful to most creatures, including humans. While their furs are often seen as beautiful, they don't have impressive claws or teeth, and their meat is seen as unsavory still. The books of rites churches mention a few grand battles over land between howlers and humans. Maybe in my notes? Do not rely on these notes. I'm kind of embarrassed just to show these. Impressive. Flying creatures, they're looking for shelter. Running from wolves, throw a rope. I don't know why that would work. Fishing village, trust, smokehouse, popping time. Ruined village, tools for later. Statue of woman. Oh, yeah. Laugh at howlers. Oh, howlers, Dale Mayer's joke. Damn, I thought we had something. I thought we had something there. All right, we got to just use our astounding wit. We got a lot of vitality. And we do got the food, so it's easier to overcome physical struggles. I don't think trying to scare them away is going to work. Because, like, these guys are in my head. They're screaming. There's a pack of them. The monkeys may try... I think we just grab it and run. I want that hide. That's going to catch a pretty penny. I think we grab it and run. You pick up the old rawhide. I don't see anything... nothing negative has happened. Okay. You stretch out your legs and dash ahead. At first, the monkeys move away with a few unconvinced yells, but then those from above start to howl even deeper than before. And you feel as if your guts are starting to move, hitting against each other. You get dizzy, and soon the pain enters your skull. as if you're getting hit by a smith's hammer time and time again, yet you manage to stay calm, focused on your goal. The larger creatures try to cut your path, but being on the ground, they can't keep up with your legs. Oh, I knew those would come in handy. Without stopping, you grab the rawhide, then carry on, waiting for a few heartbeats before you change direction rapidly, now getting closer to Gordon. By the time you reach the saddle, the beasts have already abandoned their pursuit. You take a few deep breaths, then inspect the rawhide. The wet, torn blanket is now worth as much as a bread crust. Still, it's not rotten. If the owner is around, they may recognize it. Ow! What do you mean wet? The wet, torn blanket? What? Ah! Too bad I have nothing to plug my ears with. I don't want to scare. I just travel. We don't want to deal with the howlers. Someone might recognize. I wonder if... You know, it's only 30 minutes to go back here. Let's quickly go back and see if anybody recognizes this. I betcha it's like Caius's or something like that. I approach the tavern. I have some things I'm willing to part with. Okay, okay. Can I ask about the wet fur? An old blanket. Return. An old blanket. Confirm. I haven't heard of such a place. All right, get out of here. We don't got time for you. How about the foragers? Get out of here. We don't. Damn it. We just wasted 30 minutes. All right, let's keep going. You leave the lake behind. The pebbled road runs through the hillside, with tall grasses and rock faces above you, and dark, lush forests below. Chunks of this pass were shaped by human tools. Who knows how many centuries ago? To widen it, the builders dug through the uneven boulders and used rocks and logs to fill the cavities with thousands of rocks, each one smaller than your fist. While you have a good view of what's happening between the trees on your left, and bushes and shrubs grow so densely between them that you can't imagine entering these woods on your own. Farther south, there are plumes of smoke. A settlement, most likely. Let us go. Oh, I love this part where you get to explore it. At the top of the hill, you reach a stone wall, a quiet place with no smoke coming from behind it. You look inside and see the glimpse of a peaceful ruin. While the main road is beaten and easy for hooves to trod, the destroyed gate and the remains of the front yard have almost been reclaimed by the short grasses. You seek any suspicious movement, but the place seems to be free of inhabitants, larger than a falcon. The air is fresh, and the wind shakes the tree crowns gently. I enter the yard. Well, this doesn't look good. The hamlet could be a hunter's shelter. Oh, we got his fur! A military outpost or a storehouse for traders, but you spot no fresh human trails. The damaged door and the gate are years old, soggy and moldy, just like the fur! And judging by the squirrels, birds, and the animal feces you see in the grass, this place is but a part of the wilderness. The roof collapsed only a few years back, turning into food for mushrooms. The outer wall looks generations old, but it used to be maintained. Some of its materials came from different times and areas. We gotta do perimeter check. You always do a perimeter check. There could be fools and cretins hiding in the shrubberies. Shit. What does that music mean? The chaos sparks right after you approach the tree stump. The dusk fox's growls sound like a mix of obnoxious bird and an infant. One of the animals standing only a few feet away from you is jumping and showcasing its tiny sharp teeth and a raccoon-like black mask on its little head. The animal with its thick brownish gray fur seems more stout than any red fox. The second loud creature jumps onto a table made of haft trunk. Unlike the first one, it has a brighter golden fur. It bends one of its forelegs, observing you with its dark eyes. Not furious nor scared, rather sad and protective. Its growl turns into a miserable whine. The beasts are not even waist high, but their number may be an issue. There's yet another sound coming from behind you, and even more from the bushes nearby. Hey, they're just protecting their home. We don't need to kill these things. No time to wait. I kick one of them as quickly as I can. I need to block their charge. I raise my hands and prepare myself to strike back. I step away and try to count them. What happens if I do this? It shouldn't be too hard to dodge their attack. I'll keep myself safe and take a better look at the situation. Okay. That seems pretty nice. I don't want to cause any problems for these people. Let's go for it. You take a quick glance and evade the creature in front of you as it tries to bite your leg. Then you take a wide swing to scare away the third large creature. It was standing right behind you, and while loud, its lumbering on its paws. The noises from the bushes belong to little pups, most likely harmless, though they are doing their best to imitate their guardians. Aww. I kick one! Since the one behind me has already moved back, I run for it. Like, I guess we could fight them and, like, get a whole bunch of materials. But it's just babies. They're just protecting their babies. I don't think there's going to be anything of value here. Maybe inside the house? I run for it. We don't want to. You pass the weaker fox and run towards your belongings, encouraging the beast to chase you all the way to the gate as they growl with determination. For now, they stay in the shelter filled with pride. You and Gordon take a few steps. I need to get rid of these creatures. This place was already abandoned, so I'll let the dusk foxes stay. They're not threatening anybody. Oh, they won't let me get close to the building? I want to loot the building. I want to, like, give them food. What are these called? Dusk foxes. Foxes and such. Admire their beautiful... Ah, the villagers tend to admire their beautiful furs. They're not seen as a threat. I don't want to slaughter a family. Just yet. Are you sure you want to leave this place to its fate? That sounds like it's like this is a choice that's going to affect us later on. Pardon me? Yes, the little foxes are going to grow up strong, and then they're going to come to our aid in the future, and they will maul things for us. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Dusk foxes observe as you climb the saddle. They're growling and walking in circles. One of the pups knocks down their sibling, starting a playful fight. There's no reason to bother them. All right. Let us continue. That's interesting. How it gave the "Are you sure?" I never like it when a game gives the "Are you sure?" The trees on your right get sparser, replaced by yellow meadows and marshes. There are a few lonely birches around, still bearing the signs of tapping marked with knife cuts tied with cords. Some of them still carry wooden vessels, as if they were simply abandoned, maybe last spring, maybe before that. A few of the trees are already dried out, and the winds manage to knock them down. As you get closer to the crossroads, the ground gets muddy. The beaten path avoids the wetlands as much as it can. The screeches and hisses mix with the buzzing of insects, and as you reach a small pond, there are signs of blood on its bank. The air is moist and heavy and has a hint of rotting meat to it. It may still be early, but it's better to avoid the bogs when nighttime approaches. Such places rarely have fine roads. Okay, we don't like bogs. Ooh. The bogs are darker than forests. The local creatures start their hunt up to an hour earlier. I think this is like a whole aspect of the game that I haven't even experienced, I think. What do you mean they start their hunt an hour earlier? does that mean if we're just traveling all willy-nilly, we can get some horrible situations happen to us? Okay. The trees and bushes are sparse here, growing from the barren grassland. Some of them bear late summer fruits. A group of wayfarers is spread around the broken signpost and the abandoned cart. They're skinny but healthy and are standing upright. They're wearing humble, dim Get this fly out of here! This thing's like I got headphones on and it's going in between my ears. It's messing up my vernacular. Damn it! All right. They're wearing humble, dim gambesons on top of their hemp tunics and pants, all of them worn, in some cases undyed, while others are dark green or brown. 4 of these individuals wear cloaks and are armed with spears, bows, and stone maces. On their necks, wrists, and belts you spot small talismans, fangs, bones, wooden beads, leather straps. Okay, when I was speaking that sentence, all I heard was the sound, the S's. Wrists, belts, spot small... You spot small talismans, fangs, bones, wooden beads. There's also the 5th figure, standing a bit in the back with lowered shoulders. Unlike the others, they're hooded, and in such a manner that you doubt they can see anything other than their boots. Their clothes are shabby, torn, but your eyes mostly run to their club. A bow as long as its owner is tall and as thick as a leg, resting with one end on the ground. You get closer, and the person raises the weapon with just one arm, but another traveler gestures for them to stop, and they do so right away, freezing in place. Yeah, stay on the horse just in case we need to book it out of here. The man behind the gesture doesn't approach you, just nods. Safe travel, stranger. It may still be time before the evenfall. Bogs aren't safe. Better keep moving, you'll find an inn. You try to digest his thick accent. He's broad-shouldered with a large belly, but the scars on his face sculpt an image of someone who's earned their share of food with many skirmishes. He doesn't reach for his weapon and pushes one of his companions close to the cart. She kneels by an empty box and looks inside it. The man observes you with a little curiosity. Need any help? That would be like a Roadwarden. A Roadwarden would do his job. Nice place for a camp. The air's a bit smelly, though. Greetings. Hold your weapons close. If it makes you feel safer, I show them my own blade. I don't mind. I'm just glad you're not the highwayman. You know what? We're going to be doing our job. Need any help? He makes an annoyed grimace. Not really. His timber sickening, moldy and wet. We're checking on the place. What seems a bad year for it. He looks at his companions, who simply shrug and spread. And they spread? To take a look at the... Oh, they spread out. This is what I meant where, like, my brain's not fully functioning today. In my imagination, it was like... He says this, it's a bad year for it, and he looks at his companions, and they just spread their legs open. They just sit there and just... They shrug and just like... The party's open for business. But no, they just spread around. All but one with the bow, who doesn't move an inch. I cannot say I've time to loaf. You've questions, ask a bit quick. Don't put us to sleep. These accents are so... They're messing with my brain. As is everything today. Are you from around here? Is this your cart? I look at the hood in person. What's up with this one? I gesture for them to clear the way. I'm leaving. No, we don't need to nod to this guy just yet. That's coming later. Are you from around here? Very much so. And you're new to these roads. You know our home? And you're new to these roads. You know our home? So they're from around here. Maybe. No clue. White Marshes. 'Tis there. He looks at the crossroads leading east. An old place. Plenty of stories there. But they rarely reach the ears of strangers. Especially... Wait. White Marshes to the east? Over here? Damn it. Damn it, I went in the wrong place. Ah, well. Alright. Tell me about your village. 'Tis home. He starts to play with his spear. As much a home as the bogs can be. Beasts are smaller than in the woods, but water's the real threat. Is it rough living in the wetlands? Not as rough living with robbers one side and that fake smiling rat that leads howlers on the other. Uh-oh. He says to the delight of his group. You look at him, but he says nothing more. I'm looking for a place to trade. We don't welcome any travelers, nor hope to see more of them, especially adventurers. And we need all the lumber we cut. He frowns. We've herbs, I guess. What can you bring? Are you in need of food? We're doing fine. Used to counting on ourselves, at least since, he thinks for a moment and sighs. We've most what we need, other than iron, steel, bronze. Bring those, we'll welcome you. Okay, so he needs more metals and stuff, so we can't really help him at all with trade. How can I reach it? It's not so hard. If you have bones or food with you, ride down the road, turn left, and take a gift to Thresus, the warden of our peat fields. He'll open the creepers for you. Seeing your look, he carries on. They're on the right path. One that'll take you to the village. Okay. We gotta bring a gift? I wonder if he likes that soggy pelt that I found. Anything dangerous between here and there. Water hides saurians. Don't let your horse drink, okay? Just stay on the road all the time. So we're not going to wash, even though we're filthy. And we're not going to drink. And don't follow voices or lights. Weird beasts lure humans into death. And don't touch the creepers. Okay, this is good information. He then stretches out and gets closer to the signpost, using his spear as a walking stick. Well, stay safe, stranger. He raised his voice and addressed his companions. We've wasted too much time on Tis Froth. Time to get back. The others prepare their own weapons and join their guide. The one with the bow stays silent until a gentle gesture commands them to follow. They keep up with the rest of the group, dragging the club behind themselves with remarkable strength. I could spend half an hour foraging for wild plants. I think we got time. Yeah, 2 bunches. I packed them into nets and bags. I want to put them in nets and bags. The short meadow hides nothing more dangerous than rats, rabbits, mice, crabs. With the help of your mount, you can reach the higher branches. Awesome. Look at this. We got 6 wild plants, a roasted fish, and a whole bunch of food rations. Like, we're doing great for food. Oh, right. We got to plant this at the crazy place. We're going to quick save. Travel. This way? This way leads to the town? I thought it was east. Oh, Jesus. I don't know if I want to go in there. This is going to get behind the gate. But maybe there's a little town right before the gate? You're currently here. I'm a little terrified to do this, but I think we got to find out. Because what he said it doesn't really make sense what he said if it's all the way back here. Unless he meant if we're approaching from this way, we got to go east through this bog that we just passed through. This is the northern road. Oh god. I don't know if there's permadeath in this game. You're not used to the scent of the bogs. Okay, we're in the bogs. We did the right thing. But you weren't expecting them to be so gentle. The humid air makes you think... Oh wait, the bogs are gonna... We gotta be careful. Of smoked meat, even though you ride by a few rotting carcasses and animal droppings just as often as you cross tiny meadows of pink, yellow, and red flowers. The noises tell stories of never-ending wars between the swarms of insects, frogs in their hideouts, snakes lurking among the purple grasses, birds patrolling both the water and the sky, and the saurians preparing to strike from beneath the surface. You can't separate the sounds of the living from those of the dying, if there's even a difference at all. You reach a boulder in the middle of the road. On the edge of a large pond, the road splits from here in 2 directions, but the only smoke you see is to the southeast. From the saddle, I see no creature standing in my way. Okay. Maybe it's because it's early enough. Southeast. This isn't really southeast. It's either south or east. I'm gonna go east. What does that mean? The road takes you to the edge of the woods. A few trees have found lucky scraps of soil towering above the water, while others, shorter and not as lush, have roots sunk into the pond. Some of the plants were felled with tools, so the root itself isn't so dark, while the few sunbeams getting through the weaker branches on your left are surrounded by darkness and swarms of insects. Help me! Help! The sudden cry, as well as screams of pain, reaches you from between the trees. A woman or a child? Wait. Wait. Anything dangerous. Waterheads are... And don't follow voices or lights. Weird beasts lure human... Don't. We're not gonna help you, child. It may be a trap, and even if it's not, I can't help them. Gordon seems to agree with your decision. It enters a trot, leading you farther east. A minute passes, but you still hear the constant shouts as if someone's getting whipped to their very bones. I just have to ignore it. I love it how Gordon is like, yeah, boss. Yep. Yeah, boss. I'm not going over there. I'm not going over there. Let us continue to the White Marshes. You ride along shallow waters on one side and flooded trees on the other. You reach what seems like the end of the road. The turn south is already overgrown, most likely abandoned after it was devoured by the bog. But as you look north, you see a wide clearing that, with time, has become a meadow and a lonely hut at the end of the often-traveled path. At first, you ride down slightly, following the twisted trail. There's plenty of puddles around, as well as brown, gray, and purple grasses, but all of them are too short for any lurking predators, and the few foxes you see far away don't pay you any attention. You pass by the fresh tracks of heavy, hoofed beasts, but spot no wild game in sight. Your ears can't free themselves from the birds, rodents, and dragonflies. We need to ride carefully. If Gordon's leg sinks to the mud, it may get broken. Look, when we first started the game, we treated Gordon as a commodity. It's like, he's the horse, he's got to learn how to hold his own. But since then, he has learned how to hold his own. We now have become very fond of Gordon. No one touches Gordon's leg, if not even a mud pile. Oh, hells yeah. The farther north you ride, the shorter the grass gets. The vast peat fields, broader than 2 or 3 villages placed side by side, are many years old. The turf bricks surrounding the solitary hut are still fresh, drying in the late summer light. The scent of this area is like that of no bog you've ever encountered. Instead of a sublime aroma of heavy soil, it's intense sultry, leaving an almost sour taste on your tongue. The short scarp is dripping with water, like a running sore of the earth, carved with spade and muscle. You're always going to know, as I'm reading, which words I have no idea what the meaning is. Because my brain has to pause. Scarp? I don't know what a scarp is. I want to know what a scarp is, so I can use that in my everyday vernacular. But I don't. Anyway. The house, made of birchwood, dried turf, and a blanket of soil, is a structure that you're not too familiar with, but you imagine its interiors are much smaller than they appear to be. The walls are a few feet thick to keep in the warmth, and such roofs tend to get soggy until they collapse after a decade or so. The only soul in sight is sitting on the bench, stuffing his mouth with fistfuls of green leaves that he takes out of a small basket placed on his knees. I introduce myself, and for now stay in the saddle. Still chewing, he mutters something in response, then shakes his hairy head, swallows, and puts the basket away. He stands up and takes a single step forward, approaching the edge of the scarp. What the frick is a scarp? That's what I want that to be my first question. What is a scarp? Is it this? Is it like the hill? Is it this little stool? Is it this? All right. His arms are entangled by green creepers, longer than he is tall. They rub against the ground after each step, and judging by the way they occasionally twitch, they're very much alive, even though you can't see where they originate from. Stoutworthy, the Roadwarden, he repeats, this time clearly. He moves his sealed lips left and right as if he's tasting your name. I could perfectly imagine that. Stoutworthy, the Roadwarden. Still not sure if you should swallow it or spit it out. Your face is familiar, but not this. He points at your mount, staring at it for a good minute. His voice is quiet and young, not older than 30. If you were standing next to each other, he would be almost a head shorter than you, but for now, he towers over you. He has sunken cheeks and sloped shoulders, and while his gray woolen robe was never pretty, it's now close to being a rag, and his sandals reveal long toenails. I observe him more closely. His eyes are as brown and dark as the grasses of this very bog. His left earring is made of a tusk and a feather, while the right one is an hourglass made of silver, though a broken wing makes it at all times tilted under its own weight. The leather strips on his wrists and ankles hold beads, pieces of amber, old game dice, and tiny skulls of birds and critters. Even more cords are hanging from his neck, some of them so long they reach his stomach. They carry countless amulets, some of them torn, dried, shabby, or fragmented, and you spot among them small boxes made of wood and bone, as well as leather pouches which hide even more secrets. Were you here before? Mayhap I dreamt you in my sleep. His voice and look are absent. If so, I'm Thyrsus. My name is Thyrsus, the Turfwarden. Okay, I'm pretty sure he's made that title up. I think he's been living out here for a long time, and he's a collector of trinkets and baubles. I respect you. I respect you, good Thyrsus. We all enjoy a good trinkets and bauble. He is a loot goblin. He has been hoarding this for a generation, and he's just said, you know what? I need to... Like, people don't understand me. They disrespect me, so I need to have some kind of title for myself. What can I be called? Oh, that guy's called a Roadwarden. Well, I cover myself in grass. I'm going to be the Turfwarden. Is warding turf difficult? Yeah, what do you do to ward turf? Like, protect the grass? I run my eyes over the wet scarp. Damn you, scarp. Dick, you know what? Wait. Alright. We've done it. A scarp. It's a line of cliffs produced by faulting or erosion. A low steep slope along a beach caused by wave erosion. Alright. Now that we've solved that, we now know that this is the scarp. The the whole cliffside. I don't know why we can't just say eroded cliffside. But I like scarf. Scarf? Scarp. Where am I? Right. I rub my eyes over the wet scarp. Shouldn't you ward your home out of here? The earth beneath is going to collapse. Is warding turf difficult? Dreamt? Wake up while I'm here, Thrice says. We have things to discuss. I hope I'm not bothering you. I think I would be a little bit distant. It's like he knows who we are. And he's dreamt of us, so we're like, what are you talking about, good sir? Dreamt? He observes you keenly, letting out an improving grunt. No, 'tisn't your shell I saw, but your wandering eyes. Hands used to touch beasts more than humans. Ass burning from a saddle, and cold sweat nights. So was a man before you here, Asterion. Oh, and was as lost as you are. Lost. He makes a dramatic pause and smiles, but not unwelcome. Do you know anything about his whereabouts? We get right to the chase here. Wait, I found a scrap of land that I think may be cursed, though I'm not sure. Okay, we want to talk about that as well. He raises his chin. Know what? I may. His amulets rattle after his triumphant announcement, but he then looks at the clouds in the distance. You wait for him to carry on to no avail. I wait patiently. He nods to himself. Didn't notice it's been so long. Fall's almost here. Where is he then? Well, not at my place, that's for sure. To prove his point, he raises one of his creepers and opens the door, though from where you're sitting, you see mostly the cold fireplace and the darkness behind it. But you do have an idea where I can look for him, right? Yep, at a monster's lair, most likely. You meet his eyes. Are you alright? Great, you're very helpful. Any monster in particular? We're going to keep it straight. He looks away and reaches one of his bracelets. He asked me for help with many. Was heading for a journey, he said. Needed bogey bombs to scare animals away. You push him a bit, but he doesn't have to think long, as if these questions have been bothering him for the entire season. Weirdest ones were F the Hoppies, and he wanted ones for sea monsters, but I've no such thing. I cannot poison the sea. As you think what to make of it all, he starts to tap his toes, taking a deep breath. These a huntress living in Pelt it's like Peltif the North. This inn at the southern road, Dalit. Asterion said she knows wild beasts like no other soul. So he was prepared for them anyway. So he talked to Dalit. And got some. So she should know more. She's hiding. She's holding out on us. What do you think of him? He stands up with an open mouth. Not sure what you mean by that. I don't. Left me with a heavier pouch, but ask nosy questions like someone else I know. He gives you a telling look. Alright, maybe we shouldn't be... No, we're gonna keep going. He crosses arms, making the creepers examine. Never had a witch or warlock at home. 'Tis wrong of me to speak for others. I'll take on my pyre a lot of shame and doubt. And I need to be trusted. People claim that he and your tribe were planning something big. Do you deny that? He rolls his eyes, shrugging his arms and showing his empty palms, yet the nervous twitches of the creepers add a little bit to his innocent demeanor. He and I traded a few times, but I didn't bed with him or offer him mint and stew. He said may have a job for me in the woods, and I told him I don't need his bones anymore. When asked what he did need, Thyrsus purses his lips. I want things to change, 'tis all. I wake up to awoken shells in the fogs, and Gloshia's robbers threaten my family. All I want's for this cursed land to be normal. His yawn comes out of nowhere, but you then notice his dropped shoulders and heavy eyelids. And yep, that warden told me he's going to take care of it. Okay, so Asterion, he didn't just like disappear, or like just. Of course, there's going to be a deeper meaning to his story, but he was actually on to something. He figured a way possibly to fix this place. Okay. I found a scrap of land that might be cursed. I'm not sure how to examine it. And you're saying the rest of the north isn't cursed? He lets out a chuckle, but seeing how you still wait for his advice, he raises one of his creepers and, looking in the distance, scratches it. I have no cure for that, but ask Eudocia. We already talked to her. The witch from the other side of the forest far east. Maybe she has a wand or something. Or a shrubbery. Do you live here all by yourself? Jesus! Yep, warlocking, peddling, guarding turf. My tribe dug out what they can this suburb. I just keep dragons away from squashing the bricks. Your eyes turn west, following the man's raised finger, and you indeed notice a distant trail of massive three-fingered footprints, now turned into small puddles. They're as long as your torso with sharp, pointy claws, one of which appears to be broken at its tip. Let's say I were to help your people with the bandits and got rid of the undead. Would you return the favor? What favor? I'm going to do all that work. What is he going to do for us? Like, we just did all that work. Is this the way to the White Marshes? I raise my chin. Do you choose to move to this field, or were you forced to do so? Do you have anything to sell? Oh, let's start with selling. He eagerly smiles. Odds and ends. Want to buy a hook? Adventurers love those. And I've got it for cheap. He doesn't give you time to respond. On most days, I brew and mix stuff for poisons and medicine. If one's desperate enough to cross the bogs for it, I've one that withers plants and one that kills worms and bugs, and one that keeps flies away for better health. Let me take a look. Oh my goodness. A bone hook. 3 connected bones meant to be used as a grappling hook. That sounds very useful. A poisonous yellow dust that withers the plants. A jar with an ointment that keeps insects away. That's so we could pass by that crazy place. A jar with bug-killing ointment. I don't want to spend all our money, but I kind of want this bone hook and the ointments. But we're going to need to buy supplies, but we can work for the guys in Howler's Dell to get more money, possibly. Let's buy this. Hey, we only had... Why did I think we had 6 gold? Okay, well, that's going to help us cross this path. Were you training with the druids? The forest speakers. His mocking voice makes him sound like a brat. I left when I was teen. Oh, a teen. You win again, story. As I fumble. As I start, like, missing words like this, that means I gotta take, like, a short break and get some hydration. I left when I was a teen. 10 years ago, if not more. When everything went to shot. He suddenly pauses, then waves it off. After a few more questions, he speaks slowly, observing your eyes. Don't get me wrong, I did learn a lot, especially from that one old man, but his daughter kept making me meditate, and I'm not one to sit still. His amulets rattle from his flinch. We paid them for teaching me, but they broke their word, kept telling me of spirits, lumber, and of Wright's poison. After his annoyed scoff, he bites his tongue and taps his toes nervously. You ask about the old man, but Thrices runs out of patience. I don't know. The one with the real gift. He guided all the ceremonies, yet was arguing with others all the time. I don't care. He was a good-for-nothing like all of them. I need to know what his name is. I need to know what his name is. A forest speaker, maybe? Okay. If you have any messages for the druids, I could do you a favor. We are going to be heading back there. Such a waste of thoughts, this bunch. His angry look at odds with his I'd rather talk to the rats of the bogs, or even his eyes leave you, staring at the smoke coming from his home on the horizon. After a long moment, his creepers rise up tensely. No, I've got no words for the forest speakers, but they do have my stuff. I'd pay you for bringing it back. What stuff? The things I left behind when I snuck out of that monkey house. For reasons I'd like all of them back, but one more than the others. Just some polished twig. A pause marks the moment when he realized the stupidity of his lie. My old wand. Like, find me that shiny twig. Okay. Pay me with what? Aren't people like you, he says with a little kindness, in need of healing potions all the time? I could brew you a small one, or I could spare you a few coins instead. Let's say 1 for riding to Howler's Dell, 1 for talking with the druids, 1 for bringing my stuff back. He raises 3 fingers. Okay, we could do at least 2 of those. Why would they keep your stuff? Beats me. Be a year ago, a caravan from there stopped by, looking for the mushrooms from our bogs. Before they took their noisy boots out of there, one of the guards cried, and he'd break my baby wand, make me pay for the time I cracked his nose with a branch. He plays with his amulets and eyes avoid yours. 'Twas a mistake, I was still learning. Okay. You don't seem to be using the wand now. No need for it. The creeper points in your direction, swiftly tracking the movement of your shoulders, as if they have their own eyes. I need no teachers, no masters, no breathing exercise. A fake chuckle. What do you even need the stuff for? He rubs the ground with his heel, observing his dirty toes. It's mine. His voice gets quieter. I deserve it. Bye. Precious. Is that why you were sent to the druids? You couldn't control the Numa? Not much talent for spells in our blood at White Marshes, he says nonchalantly. With no one there to guide me, I heard a few kids before I figured things out. Seeing your raised eyebrow, he continues, but cautiously. Some tribes are just like that, young ones especially. Give us 2-3 generations more and a mage or two from the outside. Art needs to grow. Okay. How was it in Howler's? He blinks. I left, didn't I? Or rather ran away. Cadn't handle their looks, their tone. They think they're better than us here and didn't let me forget that. I think I'm gonna sneeze. Pardon me. I was trying to hit the mute button there. I don't know if I hit it in time. Anyway. Any tips on how to talk with the druids? That's what I want to know. Can tell you how not to talk with them. Don't laugh. Don't look at them. Don't tell the truth. Just bow down and repeat how honored you are for have their sparing as much as a glance. Okay, I know everything I need to know. All right. Let's see. How do you avoid the wild beasts? We need to know more information about beasts. 'Twas them who avoid this place. They're afraid of spears, my plants, and poison. Seeing your frown, he raises his creepers quickly, waving them like a dancer with scarves. Yet his arms remain still. They're stronger than muscles. He simply explains. But still, I'm not much of a wanderer. Okay, is Pete really worth checking out? Yeah. He looks at the nearby bricks and frowns as if he's seen them for the first time. Sure, kind of, I think. You ask him to tell you about them, but he admits it's the others who harvest it. I meant to pile it all up into rickles. He points at a small dolmen-shaped structure. But I'm always so busy, he grins. You ask him what turf is good for, and he starts to tap his toes. You can build with it, you can burn it, and add it to the soil. It's great for smoking meat. We used to dig it slowly and barter for stone and timber, but we changed our ways. Okay. Do you choose to move to this field, or were you forced to do so? He reaches towards his chest, rubbing a small tusk nervously. One of us surely likes to ask questions, while the others got work to do. His voice is colder than soil. Okay. He was, like, banished here. There's something going on, and it looks like he was probably doing all this working for somebody. Maybe the bandits. Is this the way to White Marshes? Both the opposite and quite so. You took the left turn away from the village, but you wouldn't have reached it anyway. The path is sealed, and I keep it that way. You ask him to explain, and he raises his hands, wagging his fingers as if he casting a curse. My green pets keep the troublemakers away, but I can make an exception for a warden, one willing to prove they bring gifts, not troubles. Right, this is the guy. What's the toll? He reaches for his basket and places it on the lower edge of the scarp. The scarp! Crouching right behind it. You look inside. Indeed, it's filled with wild leaves, flowers, and berries. Give me enough for a day or so, and I'll bend the vines for a day or so. Oh. These wild fruits and leaves are not much, but I can give you a lot of them. Maybe a roasted fish? I think we give him the wild fruits and stuff. You lost 2 bunches? Not a problem. We got like 6 of them. You think I cannot find those by myself? Fine, go ahead, he mutters with renders, and you throw in enough fruits and leaves to fill up the basket. He snaps his fingers. Done. Okay, let's say I were to help your people with the bands and got rid of the undead. What would you do? He spares you a yellow grin. 'Tis all you say? Yep. Save the north. Or the scarp. If I care about, and I'll follow you into a fog. Is this like the end game? If we like help him, or we... Is the purpose of this game... Is the purpose of this game to go around, help people, build up a team, and then go into the center of the forest, into the fog, and fight whatever is causing this horrors? Follow the footsteps of the previous Roadwarden? And if we don't make any friends along the way, we're basically going to be killed? If so, I like it. I like it. Okay, travel. Okay, so he must have opened this way up for us. Let's go. The leafless plants resemble tree roots rather than creepers, even though they're dark green and sway up and down slightly. In the rhythm of a heartbeat, Gordon snorts and speeds up, unwilling to linger underneath the nightmarish gate. As you get to the other side, the plants seem to completely ignore you. Nothing stops me from riding ahead. Let's go! To the White Marshes. The road twists between the flooded purplish grasses. The field ahead you is still green, bearing the second sowing of broad beans, maybe the third one, if the land allows it. The workers ignore you. Some of them are nothing but bones. Some carry scraps of flesh, wearing them like forgotten rags. The others look almost human, as if they were awoken right after death. Most of the witless shells move around piles of soil, carry wooden logs, or dig in the ground with their bare hands. but there are also those with considerable abilities. They use pitchforks, hoes, and splitting axes, and confidently cross the uneven ground. There's only a few breathing souls in sight. They observe your passing, but keep their distance. They aren't attacking me, so I don't need to be afraid. The people who live here seem to have everything under control. If they have a civilization, and it looks like they have farming going on, then I don't think we need to be worried just yet. They aren't attacking us. This is interesting. This is really interesting. There's all the the peat that this guy was making. The guards let you in without questioning. The entrance and the wall in general were recently constructed, though are still not finished. There will soon be yet another gate, allowing for trade and conversations without opening the village to danger. Smart? Just like in the fields, the work is divided between the undead, who carry bricks and take care of most thankless tasks, while the locals cut rocks and spread mortar. The difficult past is still carved in the villagers' gaunt faces and crude outfits, and their brief glances show little curiosity. A few of them are sharing a meal right next to the well, and the victuals in their baskets consist of green leaves, fruits, eggs, and cuts of roasted meat. The food of foragers. You're told to wait here for the mayor. Don't roam on your own. The guard's voice is harsh, despite the stutter. I tether Gordon at a small shed. The man shows up soon after with a careless saunter, and he hardly spares you a look, instead staring at your palfrey, stranger from the forest garden. Can I guess what you would come here? Who are you even? His stature would be considered average in most villages, but in comparison to the rest of his tribe, he's portly, muscular, tall, and with a large square face. His hands are resting on the shaft of the poleaxe placed across his shoulders, making him seem even larger. His long, straw-colored beard is shabby and makes his bald head look shiny. You can't really tell how old he is, though you see no wrinkles. Just like the others, he's wearing prominent charms, favoring tiny figurines of animals made of bone and wood. One of them is hanging from his neck, a silver amulet portraying the head of a moose with large antlers. While valuable, it looks older than the other critters and quite crude in form. And the large antlers, we've seen this before. Wasn't that in the Howler's Dell? Like, they had a lot of... It wasn't a moose, though. But I think it was, like, the mayor had some kind of necklace, and I remember her playing with it or showing it off, and it was a stag, wasn't it? I introduce myself. He sizes you up. And I'm Helvius, who let you in. Was it Thrisis? He's as much of a gatekeeper as a fly is a warden to a piece of shut. He gives you a telling frown. I'm not one to badmouth others behind their backs. Who knows, I half whisper. Maybe I got here all by myself. Chopped those creepers into a salad. I'm sure he realized I may be of use here. Watch your tone. He could tell I won't hurt you. We're going to stay as distant as possible with this guy. We're not going to badmouth our old boy back there who took our berries. Don't boast. Those like you help others where your pouch gets empty, and we've no need of you here. He starts to twist his wrist, spinning his weapon slowly. Take a good look around while you can. White Marshes isn't for strangers. The turf houses are old, covered with lush grasses and flowers, and you can't imagine any large family fitting inside of such a small one-chambered huts. The alleys are so narrow that only one cart could squeeze through them at once. Your boots have sunk into the mud, the square is covered with deep boot prints, the noise of hammers, shouting, wood splitting, and the shuffling of undead legs pierces through the constant buzzing of insects. Gordon snorts, hunting down flies with its tail. I notice that there's only one elder in sight, and he's observing me. He's standing on top of a wooden platform by the building that's unlike any other in the village. His eyes are keen. The left one is dark, the right one is gray, bright. His head and face are shaved, and his simple, undyed robe is in even worse shape than the outfits of his tribesfolk. Once Helvius realizes what you're looking at, he lowers his weapon and clears his throat, like a boy caught red-handed. The elder walks away, holding a walking stick with one hand and touching a wall with the other. Aurentius, says the mayor, the priest of our fellowship and the one who saved our people. He raises his hand, pointing at the dead shells bursting around the construction site. I definitely want to speak with him. I want to find out about a lot of this stuff. Have you ever met Cassius the word from Gale Rocks, the people of Old Plagos? Right, we have to place a rod in this place. Okay, before I continue on here, I'm gonna pause the recording, just take a small break. I need to get some water and all that kind of junk. I'll be right back. One second. All right, I'm back. I popped in a nice hard-boiled egg, glass of water, did a little bit of exercising. Look, like a lot of my time, I'm in front of this computer a lot. Like, I do like online teaching and stuff like that as well. So you gotta if you're a person who works at home or stays at home, make sure every couple of minutes, well, maybe not minutes, at least once an hour, I'd say, get up and just do something. If it's jogging on the spot, some squats, get that H2O pumping through your veins. Or better yet, try and do some handstands. That stuff makes my eyes explode. Anyway, what am I talking about? We're back. I want to know why these undead people aren't eating your souls. I used to listen to stories about them as a kid. He nods for you to follow him. But Orentius taught me they're no different than boars in fire. He dashes forward and swings his poleaxe, bashing his skeleton's shoulder. The arm sinks into the mud, while its owner, a bit awkwardly now, keeps trying to climb up a ladder. Helvius bursts into laughter and the locals look away without a word. See, he continues, leading you back to the well. All you need's control. Look here. He points at a dead shell with remains of flesh on its chest and head. There's a white and brown sparrow sitting on its shoulder, preening its feathers. Even beasts know they've got not a thing to worry about. The awoken are now like they were yesterday, like they were in spring, like they were a year ago. Leave worrying about them to idiots and unites. Ooh. So maybe they're not as big of a threat as they think. I hear what you say about the awoken, but your tribe used to be strong without them. I'd like to speak with Orentius. Yeah, let's kind of push this a little bit more. There's no way it's so cut and dry. So what, Warden? What was 10 years ago isn't, and what isn't doesn't matter. We needed to trade, yet the others pushed us away. We won't let them choose for us ever again. Wait, that updated... Why did that update about the burnt town? Ruined village. Some humans chopped the fence away. The people of White Marshes started to isolate themselves. Okay. Okay. Have you met with Cassia? Hey, who? You repeat your question, but he shrugs. I know of a great many warriors from her tribe. They're a disciplined bunch, but not a single tale about that woman has reached me. Okay. Did you know about these people fighting a plague? Oh, shut! He looks at the dark clouds and sighs. Who? Kids, elders? While you speak, the nearby villagers stop their work, and even the undead are told to freeze in place, offering your ears a bit of relief. You answer a lot of questions, making the muddy square even more grim. You hear someone weeping, and a young woman announcing, "'Tis not fair even for them." The mayor nods in agreement, keeping the axe on his shoulders. I'll tell Orentius. From now on, we'll gather our wood chips and twigs in a shed. He raises his voice, looking into his tribe's eyes. We may have enough for them before winter. Okay, so these guys are actually... They seem to know. They know exactly what this plague is, right? Because they are concerned, but they're also like good people. It seems like they like this tribe. They don't like Howler's Dell, and I always knew Howler's Dell seemed too perfect. It seemed too nice of a place. That is, and they want us to spy on everybody else. I think they are at the source of something like that. Any place in this world that is so well off and seemingly protected, there's something dark and mysterious going on, and we like dark and mysterious things. Okay. Yes. She wants us to put a pole here. What can you do for me? She what? Let me see. He swings the hollow piece of bronze like a sword made from a branch and raises it above his head, staring at it with little patience. A lightning catcher or a toy? Well, he gives it back. Come one day before noon. You win again, game. The grammar is correct. But I read this as like one day previously. Not come one day. Come a single day before noontime. And like, anyway, you'll go out with the foragers as a guard. Work for them for half a day and we'll put it in a tree on a roof. Mayhap. Hey, that's fantastic. It's too late to do work now. Okay, maybe we're gonna seek shelter. We can't sleep here yet. We need to activate sleeping here. Okay. He sighs loudly, giving you a telling look. It's not my fault. It's too late. Why would you suggest to do it in the morning when it's too late? Come on. We just missed it. I'd like to speak with Orentius. As he straightens up, the moose head on his chest bounces enthusiastically. You and many others, but he's swamped by his work. and we've enough threats in the shadows already. If he decides you're trustworthy, he may speak with you once. But why would I even ask him? I want to hear Wright's will. I must convince him that these undead ought to burn on a pyre. I'm trying to be an open-minded with this stuff. You know, I feel like whenever you deal with these dark fantasy worlds, they always try and break the mold in some way. They present these dark ideas and these dark concepts, but there's always something behind them that isn't so dark. Like often, like The Witcher, for example, is a great example where they really create this world, especially if you ever played like the earlier Witcher games, like The Witcher 1 and Witcher 2. And it is in Witcher 3, of course, but I think it was a lot more prominent in those ones, where the real monsters are the humans. Like, you're a monster hunter, but you often realize that the monsters are often innocent in some way, just trying to survive, or they're not, like, conscious of the evil deeds they're doing, but it's the humans that are manipulating the strings behind the scenes and the political stuff that are going on. I feel like this is kind of rubbing off here, where people are saying, like, oh, the dead are rising, and necromancers and all these horrible things, and the bandits are doing horrible things. But when we start talking to people, some people are saying, like, they're not causing any problems, they keep to themselves. Okay, and these guys are they're using the dead, it looks like, to help the village in rough times. Like, maybe it's not so cut and dry. Okay, this I don't know. I just want to meet him. Sounds like an unusual soul. I do want to know what the Wright's will. The Wright, isn't that the god? Groups and places. It's not a human. He's like oh, glossary. I've seen it before. Daily life, not daily life. Magic. Religion, here we go. The Wright and the sacred tablets. The Wright is a monotheistic god described in Wright's tablets. They tell of superhuman deeds of colorful heroes struggling with symbolic challenges and creatures. They don't focus on specific ethnic groups and were created when the northern tribes were still far from forming shared identities. Okay. The teachings most priests agree on that. So the Wright is the god who fills human shells with souls. So it's very similar to, like, a Catholic god or a Christian god, it sounds like, with a few differences here and there. Okay. Okay. I need his guidance. I don't know if we want to go full religion on him. I need his guidance. Then seek fortune tellers and scholars, he scoffs. We've our own struggles to solve before we start leading outsiders. Fair enough. He doesn't trust me enough. I'd like to learn. Is Astarion around? Huh? Why would he be? You pay attention to his confident stance and strong voice, with its usual hint of disdain, and spot no sign of a lie. He's hardly ever been here. I have no need of wardens. You say you know nothing about Astarion, but people claim he has strong ties with your tribe. Helvius begins swinging his ass left and right, the heel of the hab now resting in the mud. Trying to recall the past, he makes a puzzled frown. Know what? I was told he met with our warlock often. Who knows why? Ask him if you must. Alright. I'd like to learn more about the White Marshes. Don't bother, both us and yourself. The tribe's been taming the bogs for 5 generations, but the fields. He moves toward the gate as if you had no opportunity to see them before. Are from a few seasons ago, thanks to Aurentius. We used to live on berries and meat, selling peat and timber, but soon we'll need no outsiders. After all these years of feeding our blood to saurians, leeches, and merchants, better days are coming. We made them come, and we deserve them. He fondly wipes his blade with his thumb, then clears his throat, if the right allows. So they are definitely a religious place. And I like these guys, to be honest. They forged their own destinies. So you want to separate yourself from the other settlements. It seems like that, right? It mentioned that once, like with that ruined village, it kind of linked to them wanting to separate themselves. So that means they probably know something that happened to that village, and they want to keep their distance from society, maybe? The tribes with little iron and bone struggle more and more. We're getting ready to welcome plunderers the way they deserved, is all. Our palisade was enough, and that wasn't enough, all this. He waves at the wall, and his voice is full of pride. Was built in not even 2 years. Can you believe? You glance at a yellowish skeleton that carries 2 large rocks, each too large for any human to lift on their own. Oh, so these things are like super powered. You used to sell wood, correct? He nods in approval. In the old days, our firewood warmed up all walls and toes on this side of Hag Hills, but Gale Rocks in the far north built its own hamlet for woodcutters, and Howler's Dell grew a fine garden for themselves, just to get by without us. They have oaks, cherries, and their own darker birches, have no more reason to trade with us other than peat. You glance at the buildings. While they are indeed new, most settlements in the province would view them as crude and cramped. So pretty much these guys were the big suppliers. Other people didn't want to rely on them anymore. They found their own methods. They probably lost the business, had to change the way of survival. And they kind of stuck with this kind of the old school living. Much respect to these guys. I like these guys more and more. Shall we trade? We need what we have, but I'll take a look at what you're belonging. If you seek bones, you glance. I nod towards my bundle. Go ahead. He names a few of your possessions, telling you to keep them at hand. The quarrel's a weird route. He wants something to do with this weird route? If I click this, well, I'm going to quick save. Because I don't want to sell it. I just want to see what he's offering. He stays away from what he calls a wicked spell, but stares at it with fascination. Mayhap or Rentius will make a charm out of it. 3 bones. Well, that's pretty good. I think we can sell this weird root. It's just, this came from the blood tree. We cut it off, but I don't think we don't want to have like evidence of this thing on us. 3 bones? That's pretty good. I think I'm gonna deal. Deal. He points his blade at one more thing. The quarrels. These kind of get us out of a bind. I'll pay you for 3 with 1 bone? That's all? You're not getting a single one of those. Alright, farewell. One of the undead workers drops a basket of forged cranberries and leaves, maybe because its shell is too weak, or maybe because it received a poorly phrased order, and then stays still, waiting for further instructions. I address the guards. People from the other tribes are looking for spouses. Just walk up to all the soldiers here, who have probably been, like, working on the walls, gone through battle. They're probably desperate for, like, a nice woman. Anybody want to get married? Follow me into the bogs. We definitely want to know about this. Awesome. New shelter unlocked. One of them sighs and tells you to wait where you're standing. After a few minutes, a group of locals approaches a more neglected turf house and starts to empty it. They take out old crate rags bricks. They leave by the outer wall, at least for now. There's an old shed, explains the guard. There, you won't bother anyone. We'll be ready before you need it. Very nice. I approach the well. The locals rub your hands carefully while you're drawing the water. After you quench your thirst, you try to wash your face and neck. But one of the older women approaches you quickly, wagging her finger. We're not enough for this silliness. She rebukes you. Water your horse if you have to, but we need the rest for ourselves. Stern gaze leaves you no room for discussion. That's fair. We didn't get any cleanliness. I wanted to try and get clean before I start talking to people. People are looking for spouses. The taller gatekeeper gives you a long look. We need no matchmaker here. Our youth's work to do. Only then they're free to go wherever they want. After you ask if the village is open to invite new dwellers, he snorts. You think they're going to move to the village of the dead? Good joke. I observe the workers. Not being allowed to leave the main square, you observe the shells walking through the gate and helping the builders to the wall. The skeletons are not at all complete. Some of them lack a rib, a foot, or a jaw. Many of their bones are cracked or broken, and seem to be connected to each other with nothing at all, as if the pneuma that keeps them moving knows which parts should stay firm and which ones should twist or bend. Those that kept some of their skin and guts don't smell, rot, or bleed, and make you think of dried meat. It's as if these scraps of flesh serve no purpose, and seeing how many of these laborers already have great holes in their stomachs or limbs with revealed bones, it could be that they are just in the middle of the process of becoming like their naked counterparts. The undead loyally fulfill their tasks. So far, you've counted five people able to give them orders. Some do so by speaking out loud, while one woman simply looks at a shell, no matter how far it is. The workers, while witless, maintain some sort of carefulness in their actions. They stop when someone gets in their way and use tools, if they know how, avoiding pointless harms to the shells. There may be more than 50 creatures spread across and around the village, but you can't know how many you haven't seen yet. Many of the fresher undead are elders. Among the skeletons, you spot some that used to belong to children, but none to infants. Maybe such young shells are too difficult a sight even for the locals. Maybe they are so different from adult humans that they can't be awoken. Maybe the shells are too weak to work, or too dumb to listen to orders. I'm gonna guess, like, if these people are isolating themselves, I don't know, I feel like they're still gonna have a heart. Like, if you see, like, infant bones walking around doing labor work, they're gonna have some kind of morals. They're gonna have some line that you don't cross, I feel. A sudden shout cuts the sky, but no one pays attention to it. It turns out a small boy got scared by the quiet approach of an awoken shell. See, they're still kind of uncomfortable with them, I think. Some of the, especially the kids. I go to Helvius. Oh, that's it? Damn, I thought there was someone I was supposed to talk to here. Alright. Sleep? We can't sleep yet. Where can we travel? This is the end of the road, so I think we're just gonna wait here. Sleep. Or can we can make it to Howler's Dell. Aww. Wait, no, we want to sleep here so we can do the rod mission in the morning. Yeah, okay. We're gonna wait. Wait until the evening. And then sleep. Sleeping in a shed, we're gonna lose some food, not a problem. Yeah, that's fine. The never-ending sounds of the wall's construction and walking skeletons will help you catch a good night's sleep. That's fine. The rains once again hit the ground, interrupting your sleep. Another day of muddy roads. A persistent shouting voice wakes you up. Weak moonbeams squeeze through the smoke holes, but to have a proper look around, you open the door. There are flickering torches at the main gate, accompanied by a solemn prayer and timid shouts. You put on your cloak and boots and leave the shed. A few of the locals, dressed in their regular worn and muddy clothes, surround a large group of the undead, touching their half-rotten limbs, revealing rib cages and motionless heads. A hooded woman, sonorously singingly begs for rights, guidance, and protection, but you don't pay much attention to her words. The man known as Orentius is standing beside the gathering, with a revealed torso and a walking stick beneath his shoulder. Every now and then, he cuts his sides or his back. He cuts his sides or his back and fills a wooden bowl slightly. Then, a follower steps closer, puts 2 fingers inside the liquid, and takes it to one of the awoken creations. The lights dance around them, casting shadows that you could swear hide cruel spirits. You don't know how long you had been observing the ritual when the scar-covered man turns towards you. His innocent, sad eyes carry no judgment or reprimand, yet you suddenly notice how cold your calves and neck are. Autumn is surely getting closer. You wade through the mud. Yeah, we're on day 11. We have 40 days, I believe. So 29 days before autumn. Ooh. What has happened to them that they feel justified in doing all this? So not only do they awake the dead, they use blood magic. If the United Church learns about this, they won't let it go. Let's hope they'll let me leave this place. These people are beyond redemption. I'm more thinking about this. What has happened to them so they are forced to do this? And it's definitely connected to that village, that burnt out village. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they were part of that village and they were doing like the foresting and stuff like that, and then maybe the other tribes pushed them out. I don't know. But I more pity them than anything. Even though the village seems to be on its legs, most shells you spot are dead, just as occupied as they were during the night. Okay, I go to Helvius. About the rod, let's do the work. After half an hour or so, the expedition is ready. 6 souls, none of them older than 40, and with no undead to assist them. Too dumb, the oldest woman explains. And we've no overseer with us. Their accents are heavy, but they rarely address you. For most of the time, they exchange single-word commands, gesturing for you to quiet down whenever you step on the branch. You spend half a day following the bog paths, but also going deeper into the wilderness. As a group, you manage to scare away the smaller beasts, and your guide claims to lead you around the hunting territories of the larger predators. From time to time, you keep to what looks to you like the most inconvenient trails in sight, yet no one objects. You cross the muds, shallow waters, and ancient dark game trails, tracking any movement among leaves and grasses. Hungry and annoyed by the insects, you go back to White Marshes carrying baskets and sacks full of mushrooms, berries, herbs, and great leaves, but also a few birds and furry critters. As we head for the village, I follow the guide patiently. I hardly pay attention to the group, I just look for monsters, that's all. We're going to trust the guide. Helvius waits for you at the gate, nodding with approval. 2 steps away from him, you see a short corpse, bare-boned above its waist, but still wearing pants and carrying scraps of meat on its feet. Not giving you a moment for a breath, the mayor tells you to fetch him a rod. After you do so, he throws it at the undead, bouncing the rod off its head with a thud, and starts to laugh. Go on now, he commands it. Put it on the tree there and tie it with a rope. His workers bows down, picks up the tools, and obediently walks away. I grab nothing and waste their water. Wait a minute. Isn't this what we asked them to do, though? I grab his shoulder. We had a deal. We helped them. We gave them the rod. Go on now, he commands it. Put it on the tree there and tie it with a rope. His worker bows down to pick up the tools and obediently walks away. Isn't this the deal, though? Am I going crazy? He said that, yeah, we'll put it on top of a tree somewhere. Isn't that what they're doing? I feel like I have to do this one. We had a deal. He gives you a puzzled look and tries to wrench himself away, but the strong grasp doesn't make it easy. There are no trees inside, you dumb toad. He stops suddenly, and after a long pause, calls for the undead to come back. I'll find a tall building. You let him go and walk back to your bundles, where you quench your thirst. Okay. I think that was the right thing to do, because I think they wanted it inside the city, not outside the city. I go to Helvius. Did we get any of that stuff? No. Okay. Farewell. Farewell. So I think we're done with here. We can now cross through the fjord. We want to head back to Old Pagos, I think, to talk to people and ask about, like, some places wanted me to ask about children. This person, I believe, Inuchius or whatever her name is, want us to ask about, like, people from there. So we want to go back here to talk to people. We want to head down to Howler's Dell as well. See if we can get the tools we need to catch the birds. Maybe do some work for money. Possibly visit the druids, but I'm not sure about that one. Head back over to here, get that bird, help them out there. Maybe head to the old fishing village, and then bring word for the other place. We're going to be going all over the place, but I like that we have some kind of direction going on. We're not just kind of wandering and exploring now. We're starting to tie up the loose ends, which is marvelous. And we still got this guy to deal with, who needs like a bunch of money to walk down here, the bastard. Don't know what to do with this rock slide yet. Anyway, I'm going to end the episode here, though. I think we accomplished a lot. We moved all the way up in the north, and we know what to do next. Well, this was exciting. Thank you for joining. As always, I hope you're enjoying the story kind of content. It's a little bit different, less chaotic and degenerate from my other playthroughs. But I enjoyed just kind of sitting here and reading an interactive story together. Until the next one, enjoy whatever you enjoy doing, and we'll see you next time. Get out of here.